activists and warriors, consent is a big topic we need to talk about with our friends and family. When we consent to something, you're saying, I'm okay with this particular act happening. What most don't know, or more importantly don't understand, is that consent can be taken away at any given time. This is true in most scenarios. To explore consent, I thought it would be best to bring in Katie Peters, Whitmer teacher, to help explain why consent is so important and why we should teach it to our students and children. She recently had a video from her Facebook go viral due to an incident she had whilst on the job. Next up is the interview explaining why consent is so important and why we should teach it to children. Hi, I'm Victoria with WTMR News and I'm here with Miss Katie Peters. We're going to talk about her viral video. So, did you expect your video to blow up so quickly?
I did not. I certainly would have done something with myself if I thought more than 10 people were going to watch it, but it turned out to be kind of cool.
Can you just briefly recap the story?
I was at work and I overheard a boy and a girl in the hallway, and I kept hearing her say, "Stop it," and she said it repeatedly, so I just stepped out into the hall and had a conversation with both of them about respecting boundaries and about making sure that when someone says stop it, that we're honoring and respecting that. He wasn't a bad guy and he wasn't, intentionally hurting her, but I think it takes practice to change the mindset of when you're just kidding and when someone is telling you stop, that you honor that all the time, right, when someone says no.
Right.
And I think what precipitated my video was that I had taught a girl named Cora many years ago, and Cora was awesome and she was smart and kind and funny, and we stayed in touch after she graduated, and Cora ultimately ended up marrying a man who did not respect her boundaries, and unfortunately last winter her husband killed her, and the day that this happened at school was the same day he was sentenced to life in prison without parole. And so I think it was just heavy on my heart.
So have you had to deal with any other instances like this, or?
I think we all deal with it, like not just at Whitmer, but in everyday life where people don't respect our boundaries. And I think we're growing up to learn that, or we're being taught at an early age that we always have to be nice. You have to be nice to people, and we teach children to be nice, and I think that's really important. But we also have to simultaneously be teaching them that when someone oversteps their boundary, it's okay to not be nice. Like, you have to be aggressive and hold firm on what you believe is your standard. And I think sometimes we as a society try so hard to be nice that we overlook our own standards.
Do you think it's good to teach consent to students like at this age, and why?
Absolutely, I think teaching consent is important. I think it's not only important to teach and talk about it, I think it's super important to practice and model it. And so when someone is overstepping their boundaries with you and you put them in their place and let them know it's not okay with you, loudly, other people around learn to do that too. And so I think it's really important that we enforce that here and as they're younger.
So what would you say to like a child that you're trying to teach them consent in a PG setting?
Sure. Well, I think whenever you're dealing with a child, you should always make things adaptable to their situations. And so when someone on the playground is pushing you on the swing and you say stop and they don't stop, that it's okay for you to raise your voice. And it's okay to get attention and make sure that your needs are known. And so you do that in those small ways, and they learn very early the practice of saying no and voicing their opinions and being strong and confident. And I think that carries over when they get older.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thanks for tuning in. I hope we've been able to shed some light on the topic of consent and why it's important to understand that it can be given and taken away in the same scenarios. Come back for my next podcast where we look into women in the military, where they are now, where they have come from, and where I believe they will be in the future in our fighting forces. I'm Victoria with WTMR News, and this has been The Word.